Well, uh, it only takes one day. That has been the slogan of this Cricket World Cup 2023. And I think those are the words that are going to haunt over a billion people because after a pretty imperious cricket World Cup so far for the Indian cricket team, where they went on to win nine matches one after the other in the group stage, topped the table. They went on into the semi-final, defeated New Zealand by 70 runs. There were moments at the during the that stage where it didn't even feel like they were breaking into a sweat. They were handing over the ball to Virat Kohli, to Rohit Sharma, to Surya Kumar Yadav. They were trying whatever they wanted to, and they were still easily winning. Then they come into the final of the Cricket World Cup, where Australia, well, uh, break our hearts again after I think 20 years. I don't know if a lot of the Indian fans who are following this match have any memories of. There will be a certain generation of Indian fans who will have very traumatic memories of that 2003 final defeat, and we'll have another generation now that will have this scar on their psyche. As I saw one tweet saying, "Head breaks a billion hearts." That is what happened. Well, welcome to this conversation about the Cricket World Cup final. If you were not following, India has lost in the final to Australia. This is me, Amit Kamath from the Indian Express Sports team. Joining me is my colleague from Noida, Vinayak. Vinayak, uh, I'm going to ask you the most difficult question from this match. What could India have done differently to win that match?
Not play Australia. Yeah, I don't think they had an option there. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's a very difficult one to actually analyze and figure, because like you said, it just takes one day, right? I mean, one bad day at the office is all that India had, and that's essentially been the difference between finishing first and second. The thing that we can say is Australia almost always know how to have that one good day when it matters. In the World Cup, be it the men or the women, their record in this format in the ODI World Cup is sensational. 7 times women's World Cup winners, now 6 times men's World Cup winners. They just know how to do it. Interesting thing was Mitchell Stark was asked about this before match by Harsha Bhogle in one of the small snippets. How does Australia have this sort of ability to shine in the finals and win these big matches? And his response was very, very straightforward. It's just ingrained in them, right? It's not something that this current squad has, like Pat Cummins' squad of Australian players know how to win. It has been it's been trickling down generation after generation for them from 1987 when they won under Alan Border first. It's just something that is a part of Australian psyche almost, that you go to a World Cup, you're there to win it. You just have to do your basics right on the big day. They keep saying this, all these former captains, current players, former players, they always say this, right? Do the basics right. Field well, catch well, run well, avoid extras, all these little things that sound cliched, but this is what Australia do, and they know how to do it at the biggest of stages. This is not the best Australian team by any stretch of imagination, right? Let's get out of the way. The 2003, 2007 era was really dominant.
They were intimidating, not just dominant. Yeah. They were intimidating,
right? And this Australian side doesn't have that, right? I mean, they're a good side, very well led by Pat Cummins. They have match winners, but it was just a matter of finding that 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 sort of performance on the big day. They didn't have a perfect match till the final. I wouldn't say even the final was 100% perfect. They made a mistakes here and there, but everyone was 8 out of 10. That is sort of the base level that you need to win these big matches, and Australia just know how to do that. It's I think as simple as that.
In fact, when you talk about Indian cricket, there's always this thing that people dredge up about serial champions Mumbai cricket team. They keep saying that Mumbai has that Adu's DNA. All Mumbai cricketers have, I mean, I'm only talking about this because you look at the Indian cricket team, you have Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Shreyas Iyer,
Yes,
all of
yeah.
them, from Mumbai. So you talk about that, and today we saw during the final, everybody from Ian Bishop to Gavaskar, all of them talking about the championship mentality or the championship DNA that the Australian cricket team have. They just know how to, get their team over the line in these moments. Uh, and they've not lost too many finals. I believe they've been in the final, what is it, 8 times maybe, and they've won 6 of them today, at least the men's team, I mean.
Yeah.
So there's something about them. They just know, like, I know a lot of people are going to talk about the Travis Head performance. A lot of them are going to say that the 137 that he scored with the bat. But even before he had like picked up the bat and come out in the second innings, he had made a lasting impact on the game by that catch he took of Rohit Sharma. And I think maybe that was one of the turning points if you look at the game as a whole.
100%. I think the game turned on its head there. We're doing all this head punch, so let's just keep that going to as a coping mechanism. But yeah, the match turned on its head at that point of time. Rohit had just hit a 6 and 4 of Maxwell. When he had, when Maxwell came in for power play, Rohit was not slowing down. He was going after it as he has been all tournament. But the 40s thing that was bothering Rohit came back to haunt him again today. I wouldn't know, I don't know if he's probably thinking that he shouldn't have played that shot. It's difficult to say. I mean, even if you ask him, he's probably not going to be 100% honest about it. But that moment, it has happened before in the tournament where Rohit has gone off to a flyer and got out at 40. But after that, India have always been managing to get par and above par. But that didn't happen today. I think the bigger blow was the Shreyas Iyer wicket that immediately followed. And that meant India were 3 down. And with a long tail, they had to consolidate heavily. They probably consolidated a little too much in that Rahul Kohli partnership. Probably Rahul could have tried and broken the shackles a little bit. But once Rohit got out, I think Australia were right back in the match. India took it a little too cautiously. I mean, maybe if they had gone hard then and they could have been pulled out for 180, you never know. That is the other side to it. But that the Rohit Sharma dismissal in India, where India had the upper hand, and then after 10 overs, the most striking stat of this match, and I don't think we'll probably see something like this ever again. Maybe 4 boundaries from over number 11 to 50 in the Indian innings. Just a total of 4 boundaries. Right, that is incredible, and especially given the way India have been batting the entire tournament, the pitch played its part, but Australia were just relentless with their cutters and using the pitch, and their field placements were superb. Their fielding was fantastic, and 4 boundaries in the last 40 overs, with 2 of them coming from Shami and Siraj. That I think that is the most striking stat of the day that'll haunt the Indian team. I think they just didn't have enough to defend ultimately on this pitch.
Yeah, in fact, I think they should just be handing out the fielding medal to the Australian fielders today. Because, I mean,
invite them over,
Yeah, I mean, Rohit Sharma was, not complaining while analyzing after the match. He was saying that, it felt like they were at least 20 or 30 runs short, not by a long margin. If they had maybe posted just 20 or 30 runs more, those 20, 30 runs were just scored by those guys just diving all over the field. In fact, in the first 2 or 3 overs, we saw at least 10 runs saved by the Australians in the outfield, in the circle itself. So that obviously was there. Rohit, I noticed something very interesting today. He usually has been going with the opening pair of Bumrah and Siraj with the new ball. Today he decided to go with Shami for a change. You think that was also brought on by the fact that he realized that he needed to get Shami to make the ball speak a little bit more. Plus, because Shami plays for the team that he does in the IPL, maybe he has better understanding of the conditions. But do you think those things kind of played a role?
A couple of things for that, reasons for that. I would imagine that, Shami's record against left-handers is also a part of it. He has been sensational against the left-handers in this tournament. I don't remember the exact statistic, but we had put that up as a preview before the match. So with two left-handed openers from Australia, and India desperately needed early wickets. So that in that sense, it was understandable. But Ricky Ponting made a very interesting point somewhere towards the end of the match that if Siraj is playing and he is not bowling with a new ball, then you're losing out on his impact to make Shami, get. So you're basically with only five bowlers in your squad, you're essentially nullifying the biggest threat of one of your five bowlers. Shami has always been bowling first change and been doing well. But by not giving the new ball to Siraj, he came on in the 16th or 17th, very late. I mean, he probably was the fifth bowler used today, if I remember right. So by using Siraj that way, India essentially nullified one of the biggest threat of their bowlers. But I think you can't. Defending 240, India needed early wickets, so it is understandable why he went to Shami. Shami did get the first wicket, but he was a little all over the place. The wides and the fours and all that. Maybe Siraj would have offered more control. It's all hindsight at the moment. If Shami had picked up another wicket, you never know how it would have gone. But yeah, I think India, even in the first few overs, Bumrah came back really well. But the wides, the byes, India, despite the Warner wicket, started off shakily on the field, while Australia were the exact opposite. Right, I think in the first over they saved 2 boundaries. That's the kind of tone they set for the entire match, and that's what you're up against when you play against Australia in these big matches. And just credit to them for putting together the near perfect game when it really mattered the most. That's what champions do, and that's why they're the champions.
And just talking about Travis Head with the bat as well, because today he's managed to blast himself into two very elusive clubs. He's managed to enter a club with a membership of just 4 people, of people who played in the semi-finals and final of a Cricket World Cup and have been the man of the match. He joins Lala Amarnath in 1983, Arvinder De Silva in 1996, Shane Warne in 1999, and now he's the 4th one. And the second club that he's managed to get himself into is the very even shorter club of men, Australian batters, male, who managed to score a century in the final. Ricky Ponting did it in 2003. That we don't want to remember that. Adam Gilchrist did that in 2007, and today Travis Head has done that against India. So incredible batting from Travis. I mean, he never actually let India, despite us taking 3 very early wickets, he never actually let India have like a upper hand of sorts.
Yeah, there was 1 over from Bumrah to Travis Head, which I don't know how he survived. It was, the ball was snaking around. He was getting beaten comfortably. But yeah, getting beaten by good balls is also an art. You're avoiding the edges. And he did that really well in that. That 1 over was probably the biggest. I think when he survived that, after that, he rarely looked shaky. He found the middle of the bat. He kept finding the boundaries very frequently, so that pressure never built. Complete opposite of how the Indian innings went. Where Marnus Labuschagne held one end, but Travis Head never stopped looking for boundaries. Every short ball he was putting away. Every time he got width, he was cutting it. And the moment Kuldeep pulled on his pads, he sent it over the mid-wicket fence for 6. So yeah, that I think is essentially the difference between the two batting efforts, where Travis Head never let the pressure build despite those wickets, while Labuschagne actually dropped anchor big time. That if Travis had gotten out a little earlier and Marnus Labuschagne was playing that way, you never know. It could have come back to haunt Australia, but I mean, they never gave a chance. Like the way Travis Head was playing, Labuschagne didn't have to do anything fancy. He just played a test match innings and took the side home. So yeah, that's kind of the contrast, the Travis Head show versus what India couldn't manage during their batting innings. And of course, the conditions did get better. We have to mention that the pitch does get better to bat in Ahmedabad in the second session. So that kind of expected that. But even then, Travis Head just took the match away from India brilliantly.
In fact, Vinayak Gavaskar spoke about this at the end of the game. He spoke about he asked the guys who were standing next to him, be it Finch or be it Bishop, he asked them, "Do you remember a single shot from the Labuschagne innings that you remember?" And I think both of them looked completely at sea because, and then he mentioned that this was the sort of innings where he literally did not have to do anything. It was, um,
Yeah.
I know memory is a little short, but it was almost like the Pat Cummins innings when Maxwell was going all guns blazing and scoring a double century, unbeaten double century
Yeah.
at the Wankhede. Pat Cummins, sure, he got to a half century today. He had four boundaries, but all of them were almost unremarkable, and that is kind of something that you need, especially when you're looking to make an impact. I think, if I remember correctly, I remember in 2003, Ricky Ponting had made one of those speeches to his dressing room where he had told them that, uh, even if you don't get a century, you don't get a half century, that's fine. Try and make an impact in the best way possible, because when 11 players make an impact, little impacts lead up to a massive difference. And I guess that is what we are talking about when we talk about this championship DNA.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. And that was more evident in the bowling innings than the batting innings. The batting innings was a one-man show for me. I mean, if Travis Head didn't play that, I'm not sure if Australia had the batting depth to cross the line. So that essentially was a one-man effort. Yeah, I mean, Labuschagne did his part, but yeah, if India had gotten out Head early, I would have fancied their bowling to click into gear. But that was very evident in the bowling innings when Pat Cummins. I mean, we might not discuss about his bowling numbers later on because Stark took 3 and all that, but Cummins was brilliant, right? I mean, he probably set the tone with the ball, and he hasn't had probably the best of World Cups with the ball in hand, but come the big final, he produced 2 peaches. I remember the ball that he bowled to Shreyas Iyer was probably one of the turning points of the match, and of course the one to Virat Kohli, he did, it wasn't a remarkable delivery, but he did get those 2 big guns, and he's stepped up. Hazelwood was superb with his cutters when he needed to be. Maxwell, Head, all of them kept contributing. Executed their game plans, like nothing fancy. They didn't go for anything extravagant. Slowed the ball. The spinners slowed the ball up as much as they could. The pacers just kept bowling cutters. Everyone stepped up, and on the field they were just magnificent. That was a sum of some being total than the individual parts that we speak about in team events often. The great teams always manage to do that, right? Your individual uh, contributions, when they add up, it's greater than it's probably worth 12 players, so to speak. And their fielding and bowling did just that today.
In fact, before we end this conversation, I think we need to touch upon uh, the roles of the two captains, Rohit Sharma and Pat Cummins. I know a lot of people have said that Pat Cummins is not a very Australian captain, because he's not in your face. He's not, you know, he doesn't look like he's like pumped up full of adrenaline and is trying to, sledge you
Yeah.
into submission before he actually does anything on the field. He's not that kind. He's had a very rough year this year. He's lost his mother. I think that happened during the India series, which is why he had to go back home. Things like that. But uh, he's put all of those personal tragedies aside. He's made sure that Australia did what they had to do. On the other hand, you had Rohit. He's. I mean, I don't know whether you agree with me, but then from whatever I've seen, he's had this whole streak where he's been very selfless at the top of the innings. He's realized that the role that the team needs him to play, or the management needs him to play, is to give India a flying start and then leave it to the rest. If he gets a century, nothing like it. If he gets out for a 40, as he did 47, he got out today. Even that's fine. He didn't. Any other batter would probably not have gone after Maxwell's bowling after hitting him for 2 to the fence. But Rohit realized that the role that is there in the team needs him to do a certain thing, and which is what he was trying to do when he was dismissed.
Yeah, and it has worked all tournaments, so there was no reason to think it wouldn't. Maybe a little bit better assessment of the situation would have helped. It's okay the selfless thing is nice, but in team sport, a lot of great players say this, right? It's okay to be selfish sometimes in a team sport if it helps the team win, right? I mean, you a great goal scorer in football, for example, is by definition selfish. He wants to score the goals, and it helps the team win. So that's what I mean. Like, there's no issue with what Rohit did.
With that one sentence, I'm pretty sure you managed to unite the fandoms of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma for once with just that one sentence.
No, that is, I mean, yeah, the template had been working really well for India, so there was no reason to doubt it wouldn't today. But given the conditions, given how the pitch was playing, maybe a little bit of caution could have helped. After, like, I mean, it was a flying start. It was 80 from 10 overs. There was no really need to go from fifth gear to sixth gear, maybe, is what I think. But yeah, I mean, once that, like the way I see it, once Rohit got out, the fact that India lost Shreyas immediately actually hurt them a little more than
5 balls.
anything
I
else.
think
More than yeah.
Inside 5 balls, we had lost two of them.
Yeah, and two informed players going out, and then the anchor dropped a little too deep in that Kohli Rahul partnership for a while. So yeah, I mean, they can analyze all they want. I think, yeah, that is a problem.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we should wrap up this conversation. It's been a long day for us in the newsroom, for the fans in the stands, and for anybody who was watching. But we hope this was a remarkable World Cup for any Indian fan to see Indian team being that dominant all throughout. And I mean, sure they had a bad game, but then otherwise they've been very very imperious. So we hope that when you think back to this event, you don't look at the Indian team the same way that other fans would have looked at the previous iterations of the Indian cricket team at World Cups. Uh, well, thank you for tuning in. This has been fun. On behalf of my colleague Vinayak in Noida and myself, Amit Kamath, thank you for listening in. Goodbye.